Is it really game over for SpaceX? The company currently led by Elon Musk is valued at more than 74 billion USD as of today and is making remarkable achievements in the space industry. With the eventual goal of taking humanity to Mars, SpaceX is revolutionizing the space and rocket industry. Thanks to its absolutely capable physicists, investors, and the extraordinary efforts of Elon Musk, SpaceX has arguably made much more of an impact than its rival Blue Origin. While the company currently enjoys a very attractive contract with NASA to land humans on the moon, it might be facing some serious legal trouble. Could the current situation lead to SpaceX being thrown out of this space race? Let's find out. Trouble began brewing up for the multi-billion-dollar company during a town hall meeting where the environmental effects of SpaceX were brought into question. Although the situation currently appears unclear, several recent actions undertaken by the Federal Aviation Industry have the company's future hanging by a thread. Let's take a closer look at the situation. This week, a dynamic blend of fans and detractors shared their thoughts regarding SpaceX's launch activities in Texas during virtual town halls, feedback that will be weighed when the government evaluates the company's future in the state. More than 100 individuals took the time to share their ideas at the sessions, with opinions ranging from effusive praise of the firm to worries over SpaceX's influence on the region's communities and environment. The extended town halls were conducted by the Federal Aviation Administration, which is now examining whether to award SpaceX a license to launch the company's gigantic new Starship rocket out of Boca Chica. SpaceX has been manufacturing and testing Starship prototypes at its launch site in Boca Chica for the last 4 years already, but the corporation seeks authorization to launch the vehicle into orbit from the location. Such operations usually require a license from the FAA in order to assure that orbital launches won't endanger adjacent persons or property. As part of the licensing procedure, the FAA performed an environmental evaluation to examine what type of consequences SpaceX's launches will have on the region. The EPA presented its conclusions in what is known as a Draft Programmatic Environmental Assessment, or PEA, in September. That publication marks the commencement of a comment period that has been extended until November the 1st, when members of the public might express their opinions on the PEA and bring up any possible concerns the FAA could have missed. While the FAA welcomes comments in the paper, the agency also sponsored the town halls this week so that residents could voice their ideas vocally. SpaceX enthusiasts attended the meetings to demonstrate their support for the company's efforts. A recurring theme among the backers was that while they did not reside in Texas or near Boca Chica, they desired to see SpaceX continue operating and launching from the area. "I don't live in Texas. I have no stake in this currently," one person remarked. "But I would simply want to add that SpaceX is doing wonderful work in Texas and that I would like to see this process go a bit faster." "I'm a Georgia resident, not representing any organization or special interest group," another commenter added. "I'm saying on behalf of my own capacity as a passionate supporter of SpaceX and a backer of the human endeavor to expand mankind's boundaries beyond Earth." Some fans of the company argued that SpaceX is bringing jobs and economic growth to Brownsville, the city next to Boca Chica, but most of them talked about actually being inspired by the company. And for these fans, it is their belief that Starship work must continue so that humanity can become a multi-planet species. This is essentially a term used by SpaceX CEO Elon Musk. Although SpaceX's Starship system has yet to carry passengers or reach orbit, the corporation aims to launch humans on the spacecraft to Mars eventually. Interestingly enough, SpaceX also holds a valuable contract with NASA to develop Starship as a lunar lander that can send people to the surface of the moon. Some who identified as inhabitants in the neighborhood also voiced support. "I love you, SpaceX, and I love you, Elon Musk, too," one individual who recently relocated to the neighborhood said during her remarks. Another woman living in the neighborhood commented that she slowly but surely have witnessed a rocket emerge from the dunes of the beach, and it's been an honor and a joy to be able to observe something wonderful produced out of this world. However, dozens of surrounding homeowners were fiercely opposed to SpaceX's intentions. Common objections were around access to the surrounding beach. Roads are routinely restricted near Boca Chica to facilitate large testing and test launches. "They're not considering us," a local claimed. "My personal experience has to wish to go to the beach and the road is constantly closed, where they have promised that we would not be affected. Others decried the debris that had fallen on the Earth following several test failures. One test launch in March culminated in an explosion that spewed shards of metal and rocket components across the terrain surrounding the Boca Chica launch site. Apart from that, sounds and rumblings after successful launch tests were also a huge subject of the complaint. With these tiny rockets, I don't know how you can claim that the loudness is in any way appropriate or that the vibrations are in any way acceptable, one neighbor protested. My home shakes with small rockets, and it sounds like the rocket is approaching just over my head. And when they lose these huge rockets, you're already seeing fissures and certain seismic difficulties having to do in South Padre Island. Supporters had their own interpretations of the tremendous noise. Regarding the sonic booms and the noises caused by SpaceX operations, they should be met with a consideration that the shaking of your chest is a positive thing, as SpaceX's operations not only inspire hope in so many across this nation and the world, but are propelling humanity on a course of togetherness and prosperity, one supporter said. Critics from environmental groups joined the calls to raise worries about SpaceX construction and activities damaging the neighboring wetlands and endangered animals, including birds called plovers that nest in the region. Others expressed worry about the imprecise nature of SpaceX's plans to establish a natural gas plant in the region to generate methane for the rockets. Without details, they believe the implications of a plant are difficult to estimate. In response, advocates highlighted that Cape Canaveral, Florida, site of the US's busiest spaceport, also operated near a wildlife preserve. A lot of detractors urged that the FAA make a second environmental impact statement, or EIS, which the agency already conducted for SpaceX's Boca Chica location in 2014. However, the FAA completed that evaluation when SpaceX initially planned to fly its smaller Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets from the region, with up to 12 scheduled commercial launches a year. Starship is much bigger than SpaceX's earlier rockets and still has years of development ahead. The FAA says the business aims to fly Starship up to 20 times a year during flight testing in the early years of development. The FAA said it would examine all opinions equally, even the ones given in writing. After analyzing all of the suggestions, the FAA will react and integrate them before issuing a final PEA sometime after the comment period expires on November the 1st. The government might produce a Finding of No Significant Impact, or FONSI, for SpaceX's launch site before proceeding on with the launch license procedure. Or the FAA might opt to perform another EIS, a move that would surely extend SpaceX's intentions to execute an orbital launch from Boca Chica as soon as feasible. As the FAA's process goes on, Nixon and other local activists for wildlife and beaches are wanting SpaceX to make more of an effort to collaborate with the community and reduce environmental hazards as much as possible. We're not trying to push SpaceX out of town, we just need them to obey the rules and be decent neighbors. If they really want the respect, they need to show the respect back, he argues. Would you agree with the FAA's stance in this regard, or would you rather back SpaceX's future missions? Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.